Hello, everybody, and welcome to 2025. This is Alberto with A to Z Tactical Academy, and today I want to talk to you about tourniquets. So I haven't posted in a while because I took a little break during the holidays in December, so I was away for a while. I didn't have my camera equipment, so I haven't posted in a while. But you probably have heard that if you carry a force multiplier, right, whether it's a blade or a gun, you should carry some type of medical care with you and get training on it as well, right? So a tourniquet is probably the first piece of medical care that someone that carries every day picks up and puts on, right? You should have bandage, compressed gauze, and if you have the space, a chest hole seal, if you will. But that ends up being a lot of gear, and then you have to be very creative as to like where do you put it without looking like you have a belt full of accessories right on top of your belt, carrying the gun, the OC spray, the blade, you name it, right? With that in mind, in this video I want to talk about two things. One is the tourniquet itself, how do you use it properly, and what to look for in one of them. And then towards the end of the video, I'll put the time right here, is creative solutions as to where to carry on your body so that it doesn't look like you have a military chest rig full of stuff. So tourniquets, right? First, you should pick a tourniquet from a reputable source. I've seen tourniquets at Amazon that are dirt cheap, but I wouldn't trust them to hold to a real emergency. The windlass, the bar, if you will, that you have to torque down, it's very cheaply made. It may snap and break on you, and you won't be able to use it. So use equipment that comes from reputable companies, and don't use cheap stuff, right? Mainly what I wanted to talk about is the typical cat tourniquet, right? It looks like this, and you should have it set up in a way in which you quickly deploy it. There is a couple other types. This one here is the RAT, the R-A-T, Rapid Access Tourniquet. It's the bungee cord, right? It's basically an elastic bungee cord with a buckle right here. I'll go over how to use that part. And then some newer ones. This one here that I bought quite a while ago, and I have my doubts about using it, but it's basically like a ratchet. And it functions a lot if you snowboard or ski. It functions a lot like the snowboard boots, where you could just crank this up and the ratchet just makes it tighter and tighter and tighter. So let me explain internally how they work and how you should set it up. For the cat tourniquet, I highly recommend that you buy a trainer, right? This one here clearly says right there, for training use only. So don't play with the real one, because the more you use it and put it on and crank it and then take it off, the more this gets weakened. So I would just use a training tool to get proficient at the use and deployment of it, right? One of the things you should do is practice the deployment of it. So when it comes out, it will just come wrapped however the vendor ships it to you. But you should stick it in a way in which you could just deploy it very quickly. So a lot of people do this. They basically stick this part together, right? This is Velcro all the way. So you put it through the loop, you close it like so, and then these two, you package it, right? And so when you need to deploy this, you just pull it apart, and then your limb goes through, and you can crank it up. Where on your body should you put it? A tourniquet is useful when you have an injury or a bleeding injury in the extremities, right? So if you have it, I would say from the bicep down or from half the thigh down. Why is that? Because if you have an injury that goes up higher, you won't be able to get the tourniquet high enough to impede circulation. You would need a different technique, and that is packing the wound. So I'll talk about that one in a different video. But if you have an injury from, let's say, the mid elbow, close to the elbow, mid bicep down, that's where the tourniquet will go, and you would have to place it as high as you can in the arm. So it would have to go all the way up here. Same thing with your leg. put it as high to the groin area as you can. Why high? Let's say you have an injury in this part of the arm. Why not put the tourniquet right here, right? Why would you have to go all the way up there? Well, a couple of reasons. The lower part of the arm is actually two bones, and this one has only one bone. Same thing happens with the leg. You have one bone in the femur, and then you have two down in the lower leg. If you have two bones and you compress them, you either won't be able to impede circulation or you may cause a different injury, right? If it's only one bone, there's nothing you can, impact on the bone itself, and you'll be able to impede circulation a lot easier. The other thing is that on a severe injury like amputation or maybe a bullet wound, the source of the bleed may not be where the hole is, right? It may be further up. So you may have an entry wound here and the vein or artery may retract just on trauma, and you may be bleeding from here and then be actually visually here on this side, on the lower side, right? So might as well just go all the way to the top, cover all bases, and then get to medical care. How these work is that they have, and let me open it here. Let's see if I can show it. If you look at the windlass, there is like a ribbon that is trapped inside this sleeve. This is a sleeve, and the ribbon goes inside of it. So when you tighten the windlass, you see how the ribbon comes, from there, and it tightens the rest of it. So you see it starts to bunch up because I'm pulling this. So in the cat tourniquet, when you tighten the windlass, you're actually not pulling this together. You're pulling an internal ribbon that is inside this sleeve. And that's why I mean that buy a trainer and practice with the trainer so you don't stress the inner ribbon on the real tourniquet that you're going to carry, right? So that's how these operate. So this is a rat tourniquet. So let's see how this one works. I actually packaged this one with a Velcro strap that I use for computer cables. I actually buy lots of these right here on Amazon because they're super useful. I'll put the link in the description. I like them because they're so cheap and they're so thin, and they don't actually have that feeling of the Velcro. So if it rubs on your skin, it doesn't irritate. I've worn one of these against my skin, and after a couple hours, it's pretty raw. But anyway, so let me open this up. These are breakaways too, so if you pull it hard enough, it'll break away. But they're basically this. They're used for computer cables. Super cheap to do. Anyway, so this guy here, it literally is a bungee cord. So the way it works is that you put it over the limb, and then you tighten, and you're supposed to do 3 turns and then secure it here in this buckle, something like that. I don't know why it's called rapid access tourniquet or rapid application tourniquet. I'm sorry, that's really the name, rapid application tourniquet, because it's really not that rapid. It's not that quick. So if I wanted to apply it myself, I crank it up, right? Go here. I'm supposed to do 3 loops, 3 complete loops. And then go secure it in the buckle, which now it's under my clothes. Oh yeah, there it is. I'm gonna go here. Yeah, it's extremely difficult to do solo. This will be more if you have a partner or if you have no other choice. Honestly, it's a little difficult to apply yourself. You do have to make the 3 loops with a separation about like that wide. Otherwise, you'll end up with something like this, and that does not work. Right? So you have to have some separation so that the area of muscle that's being compressed is wide, and then you can impede circulation. It's hard to use. Yeah, it looks pretty convenient. but honestly, I don't know that I could apply it myself. Then you get this newer models, the ratcheting part that I was saying. So same concept, right? You fold it in a way in which you can just quickly expand it, put your limb through it, fold this tight. It's basically just see if I can do it here. It's just a loop, right? So you just kind of tighten it. It goes like that. This one you could apply it yourself. All you gotta do is just crank this up, and then for the tightening part, all you do is just go like this. But as you can see, this one doesn't have that inner rivet, right? Now the material itself is getting pulled together. So this part right here will bunch up somewhere. It will have to bunch up somewhere. And this is where your arm is, right? So this is this part. Let's see if I can apply it here so you can see it. Yeah, this starts to bunch up right here, which is why I don't think that these are used by medical professionals. This is kind of more of a gimmick, call it gimmick. I mean, it's a good concept. It's a good idea for somebody that's not trained on how to properly use a tourniquet. And so all they have to do is just do this. But you know what? You can train with a real tourniquet and then apply it easier. So the advantage of these guys is that they're very easy to operate. There it is. And then you can redeploy it, and they're super flat. They don't have any Velcro whatsoever on them, so they don't irritate your skin. Again, it's a good idea. I probably would like it better if it had a sleeve and a ribbon, just like the cat tourniquet, and something a little easier to pull here for this deployment. Okay, so now where do you put all this stuff, right? I carry with me typically one, if I can, two tourniquets, because I may have two injuries or I may need to help two people if I'm not involved. Typically, I carry with me combat gauze or something that I can use to pack a wound. And then, if at all possible, and I can stuff it in there, a chest seal set for injury in the thoracic area. Typically, my go-to is an ankle kit from Warrior Poet Society, this one right here. I've custom modified this one. I've actually added a Velcro elastic pocket here where I can put a chest seal, because these are rather large and you really can't stuff it in a regular pocket, right? So then I ended up not carrying it, and I wanted to take it with me and all that stuff. So I have here my cat tourniquet, scissors. I carry a hemostat because these are useful for a number of situations. And then I have packing gauze stuffed in there somewhere, right? So this will be my go-to, an ankle kit. Sometimes if I'm at the golf course or I'm in a place where I'm in shorts, then I won't be able to, because it's pretty obvious, right? And who cares? Whatever, it's a medical device. Nobody will say anything, but you may not want to have it on display like that. So I play with a little bit of Kydex and some holster clips over here and some elastic bands. And I kind of made this myself out of necessity, if you will, because I wanted to carry something that I could put on and off, and not have to take the belt off or put the tourniquet after the belt was on my pants already. So what this does, and let me try to deploy it here into a belt. I basically just clip it like this, and then go to the other side, clip it like that, and now it's there, right? It's like a little holster, and it moves around, so it's pretty easy. But if I have to deploy it, all I have to do is just yank out of here, and my tourniquet is there. So it's a very easy solution I came up with so that I could put a tourniquet carrier on my belt without complicating things too much. The other thing you can do is use those cable organizer strips that I was telling you, and do the same thing with the belt, right? Just tie the cable organizers to the tourniquet around your belt. The only problem with this, and I was doing this before, the only problem with this is that you have to do it after you put the belt on your pants. So now I'm here in the back, I'm trying to guess, I can't see, I'm in a mirror, or I have to ask somebody to help me out with it. So that's when I decided to come up with this silly idea. The other solution, simply stuff it in your sock, right? So just lift your pants, put the sock stuck it in there, off it goes, right? The only thing with that is if you have delicate skin, you're gonna have Velcro rubbing on your leg, and it gets uncomfortable. Some people I've seen, they just stuff it in the back pocket, like a pocket knife, like a cell phone, whatever. It's not that inconvenient. So you just kind of stuff it in your back pocket, get it out of the way. I mean, gosh, some people sit in wallets that are like that thick, right? So they have no issue with that. Just stuff it in your back pocket. You could stuff it in the front pocket, but like in my case, that's where I carry my OC spray and my fixed blade. So I can't do that, right? So anyway, be creative. Always take it with you. Have medical, and then attend medical training and practice with it. See, if you never practice with it, even if you went to training, but you never practice put it on yourself, on a leg, on the right arm, on the left arm. So now I got to do everything with the left. You're gonna be in a situation where you're not gonna do it right. Okay. So anyway, seek training, practice with it, get yourself a little trainer tourniquet. Don't buy cheap stuff. Honestly, it breaks. It doesn't last. You wouldn't trust your life to it. And anyway, stay safe. Talk to you later.